Okay, we're all here, we've got our Zoom started, so we'll call this meeting to order. First agenda item is approval of the agenda. We've got two members, so.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
I
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes.
make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the November 4th, 2021.
Long time ago.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Rodney. Mr.
Okay.
Half hour.
So I was wanting to review watershed projects utilizing the WIBIT funds. There's a list of projects from the, I don't know if y'all didn't print them, but I printed extras. So out of the Grindstone master plan, there's a list of projects, and the second item is River Bend Engineering proposed improvements. This cost estimate is $35,000. I don't know how accurate that is, but there's also a map of areas around the lake that show those locations. And I don't know how well, Eric, you remember the projects, but I actually have the cost estimate from the master plan as well. Need another one? I have extras. Yeah, there's all of them.
Do you have one?
That's it. Does everybody have a copy?
Yeah.
So this is a proposal for wetland projects, not,
That is correct. And I did print off I printed me a copy of the special fund. Is that what the balance is? For watershed?
That's my understanding, yeah.
And it shows the balance, from the watershed funds, the 30% at $54,000.
nice.
And there may be some other projects that the committee might recommend, but
So it's my understanding that the last allocation of funds, which was carried forward, this 36,000 has been already put towards this project.
okay.
I've got a feeling that it's not enough for this, and the estimate's probably off. So, out of the water utility funds, I paid for the engineering services for Chris. We just haven't started it, so maybe it would be good just to earmark this, or recommend earmarking those funds for these
The
projects.
construction.
And then whatever remaining balance, we can come back and figure out what to do with it. I think we'll burn through more
Yeah, I do too.
than the 50-some thousand.
What are your thoughts, Dick?
Well, we still are having a problem with those juniper resprouts up there. That one project we did on the north end up there, I don't think we killed killed one.
Really?
The newer one looks better, but
Didn't we do multiple different types of applications?
well, the only difference was that Recreation used your poison and your crew, and we
Which
did
one
the other
was that one? That
And-
was the north one?
Yeah, and neither one of them got much of a mortality. It's kind of befuddling to me, because
Yeah.
everybody tells me that they get 80-90% killed with the same
What was the-
application we were using.
What was the timing? Like what month was it?
It was like July. It should have been right after the rain started, when got good growth, and that's when the systemic should work the best. So anyway, I think we still need,
How much did you spend on those last time? How much did you spend with the village applying? And then how much did you spend on the contract?
it was pretty close to the same. Our T-Bone wrote up an estimate of what you sent. It was pretty well donated. It wasn't from this project.
Okay.
And we were, seemed like to me it's right at $1,000 an acre.
And how many acres do we have?
Just 10 north of that road.
Well, my initial instinct is to fund 10, because that could be something that could happen before we'd be ready for construction.
Well, I'd sure like to give it another shot. I'm gonna do some more research and find out if there's something else. We can use pellets, but we didn't wanna use pellets because of the watershed and washing down into the creek and those kind of things, so the systemic's still the best way if we can figure out a way to get it done.
You know, this is maybe getting a little off subject, but do you recall what the kill was inside the fence at water plant number 2? Because what we did on that one is we cut it and we applied it on the fresh cut. This one the ones
We
you're
just
talking about,
sprayed.
we just sprayed, it was foliar or whatever on the, I think from what I can recall, that the one where we cut it and applied it to the fresh cut was, as far as I remember, 100% kill.
Oh, I'd like to take a look at it, but normally if you got more foliage, you get more absorption of the chemical, and it takes it to the root. It should kill it better than because if you're gonna cut it first, you gotta spray it within
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes, or it doesn't absorb it.
Either way, that's what I would like to do, is I would like to fund the spraying for the 10 acres, and then like you said, when we get ready for the construction, come back again because that should happen sooner rather than later.
Okay, that'll work for me. Let's program 15.
Whoa, you're changing things there.
Well,
If you're gonna cut it first,
Inflation, Rodney. I'm playing the Rodney game. If money's there, try to get it.
So clarify what you said again, Eric, about where we're at with all the watershed.
Okay, so in our fund, so we showed is the 50, so we should have about $55,000. But the 36,000 was already allocated to this project and just
Okay.
never spent.
So can you refresh us just a little bit on what those improvements were?
So that would be like putting in the check dam structures in the eroded
okay.
erosion areas,
And I remember what the projects were, or some of the projects were.
putting in some bermed areas to encourage the water to soak in.
does this include replacing that culvert at that?
This price doesn't.
This one doesn't?
No. And so that's something that we'll be doing in the water utility, is putting in that culvert.
So we'd have roughly about 19, is that what it is? Leaves a balance of 19.
Yes.
And you're saying only 10 acres need to be retreated?
That's all right now that,
There's no other sections of those around the lake that need to be retreated at this point?
I haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm sure we got some resprouting up there.
Can I ask, I want to ask another question, Eric, because this watershed funds only be spent at Grindstone?
No, they could be spent over. I'm
Well, I
sorry.
would like to make another recommendation then.
I'm actually looking at this. So we have, we have $79,000. If I'm reading this right.
Okay.
Total.
Well, I think the same ought to apply. I don't think we should change our stance because like you said, whenever we're ready for the construction, we could come back and look at it again. But I've noticed that at the Gablin Memorial Garden Cemetery, it needs to be treated soon. Those re-sprouts are really, I mean,
Yeah, the
before long, they're gonna be out of hand.
private land right across the street's the same way.
So if we could consider, enough funding for the 10 acres you're talking about at Grindstone and then retreating the Gablin property, the Gablin Cemetery.
Do we want to get a technique that's working before we commit to another? I don't know.
Yeah, I would hate to be,
Because, so the stuff that you're treating at the dam, that's small diameter trees, and there probably is some of them, but some of those trees that were taken down were probably pretty big junipers, and, how much of the root mass is still down there, and that might be why the herbicide's not as effective. Because there's so much root mass down there.
I have and I don't know, I'm sure you have a contact too, but I have a contact with the Helena Chemical who could come down and talk to it about us. I mean, I do understand what you're saying. If we've already treated it 2 different areas and it's not that good of a kill, we should have,
Well, the same prescription was used down there on the Frisbee course, and so far it looks pretty good, but.
Yeah, the only thing that I can recall is they were talking about the timing of it, because like you said, the regrowth, you want it to be active. You don't want it to be when the plant is stressed, like May or June when they don't have water. It wouldn't be a good time because they're stressed and they're not taking it in
Not normally, there's some commercial people that are applying the same
and still.
stuff, and they said it doesn't matter what time of year you spray it, but boy, my results hadn't been.
Is that pretty expensive to spray?
So, yeah, I'd be willing to talk to
Well,
anybody
he's
to find out.
talking $1,000 an acre.
Actually, I think the cost will probably be closer to $750 an acre, depending on how much.
Well, you asked for
Replacement.
extra, and you're saying it's going down?
You don't know how to play the game.
Well,
He's giving too much information, doesn't he?
the bottom line is that I don't know how much it's gonna cost. And if the money's there, I can always turn it back if I don't use it.
How many acres is the cemetery?
Was it 10, 9, something like that?
Yeah, the cemetery itself, the parcel's actually a little bigger than that, I think.
But not all of it needs to be, not all of the acreage, it's the part that's undeveloped that really needs to be retreated. But
I'll get an acreage, and if we can get somebody to talk to us about it, because I've talked about till I'm blue in the face to people, and
Yeah.
everybody says, well, that works great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you guys are just roughly saying 10. So can we just put $20,000 so that we can vote on it and then recommend it to the council? Because the council's gonna have to approve our recommendation.
okay,
Okay,
So,
what do you think, Susan?
I think that's a good idea.
I mean, and just another example, just for like Susan and everyone, if you wait, how much more costly is it if you wait 10 years and have to retreat that same acreage?
oh, it's up there around probably twice as much at least.
Don't you have to cut them down and then treat it?
Not when they're little.
You're right, but if they get big.
If they're big, now that's what increases the cost, because you gotta cut them down and haul them off and.
Okay, so what we're proposing is $20,000 to try spraying one more time at, so the Santa Anita section of Grindstone,
Yeah,
and then the Grindstone, or the Gavilan Canyon,
cemetery, yeah.
so approximately 20 acres total.
Roughly.
And then the remaining 16,000 would go into the fund to do the Grindstone. So we already have allocated this money, so we got $36,000 new this year. So the remaining 16 would go into the Grindstone stormwater and erosion control.
And then we'd have to come back and ask for 20,000 more
For what?
for all these.
No, so we've already had authorization from the council from last year, so we already have money in the bank
Oh, okay.
for, these projects.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
So, yeah. To the,
It'll remain in the fund.
for the Grindstone, like erosion control. Samantha, you've joined us on Zoom. Do you have any comments at all?
She's multitasking.
Yeah. Maybe she can't even hear us, I don't know.
If there aren't any other comments, I second Dick's motion.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so, on the March council meeting, we'll prepare a document, expressing the breakdown and use of those funds. Okay, let's see, Samantha can't hear us, she's the next one, so,
I actually had another one there. They're not listed by numbers.
oh, I see,
Or-
got it.
There was, review the proposed equestrian trail on village property at Grindstone Lake. So, I think, y'all did get a packet or not?
I saw it a long time ago.
Well, we'll just pass this around. No.
Here, I'll get that.
So, at the, let's see, on the the northeast end of the lake where this trail comes around, when the horses go, let's see,
Where's
when
the
the horse,
parking lot?
It's up here.
yeah,
Oh,
so this,
okay,
this is
okay.
the main parking lot
Oh,
at the lake,
okay.
and this is the equestrian parking lot.
Okay,
So what's been requested is when the equestrians ride through here and they go all the way around, when they have to come back, they have to ride through this parking lot to get back. What they would like is to add a trail that comes here on the west end of the lake down to the Fisherman's Trail so they can go back out this way. But and that section of trail is on village property. But, I mean, I wanted to review it with the Watershed Committee to see what thoughts
there-
they had on that.
Is there any way that the trail can head off, or get on this side of the culvert, so it can
Yes,
use?
most definitely.
Cause my only concern would just be,
The drainage.
yeah,
And my only thing is that, on the previous map, you said that northwest, this is southwest of the lake.
I thought Southwest was on this side of the lake.
Well, no, this is southeast.
Southeast.
Well, that'd be northeast.
Thought north was on this side.
No, no, this is south. This is the south end of the lake. The bridge is on the north side of the lake.
So this is the dam, which is on the east side.
so this is the south facing slope on the north side.
Mm-hmm.
oh God.
Well, I'm gonna go look at my map and see.
I thought,
But regardless, I don't know, like, it's on this side, so it's there, south of the water tanks.
that would be a lot better for them though, and then they don't have to go through all of that.
Well, then it even makes a short loop here too,
Yeah.
for people that wanna go out here, but not take the whole trek.
Oh,
Are we
yeah,
on
they
the same
can.
page, Dick?
Yeah,
Okay. So if it's okay with y'all, I'd like to, walk this with the eco servants, see if they can lay out a trail, not build it, but just lay it out for now without crossing that drainage.
And it might,
I think there are probably a couple of places where they skidded whenever they thinned that might serve as a base for,
Okay,
and you even might too run it down here to where that bathroom pad was put in,
mm-hmm,
cause there's kind of a little swale seams there.
yeah.
Anyways, something that people need to just, we need to see it laid out.
There's a topo map, but. Okay, well, I'll work with them to pin flag it and, try to meet our request not to cross the drainage. And then I'll come back with the layout.
Okay.
That's the dam right there.
Okay, well, I still have you for 8 minutes then, since Samantha seems to have dropped off. Just wanted to talk about our, hey,
hi, Sam.
Sorry.
no, it's
I
okay.
don't know what's going on with the voice stuff.
Okay, sorry. So we're just at your item, Rodney has 8 minutes, so if you wanna get a vote out, you need to describe it really quick.
I could hear y'all great. You couldn't hear me at all?
No,
I didn't think so.
That might have been something I did, right?
Just kidding. Did I come in mute? Did you want me to add to it, or did you already?
we haven't
We
started.
haven't talked yet.
This is a piece of property that horseshoes around Dollar General, next to the piece that we just bought from Chris Cummings, on the left-hand side of P&M. Potential uses haven't really been explained to me. Tim just wanted us to give our opinion if we should purchase it.
There is a creek that runs through
Yeah,
there.
the drainage through there is one of the things I said we'd have to look at, but
And I think there's some potential to, based on I don't know that there's actually a natural stream there, I think it's just where the highway redirected it there and it started eroding away. But I think there's some potential to do some natural restoration there, and that could also improve the drainage from the workforce housing area. I think it would be, from a watershed perspective, it would be a good addition. It's got thinning liabilities, but
and from my perspective, it's kind of a wash. It's eventually, there probably gonna have to be some thinning and stuff in there, but I don't wanna thin it if it's gonna be turned into workforce housing anywhere where they're gonna take out all the trees, cause it's an extra expense.
How much acreage is there?
Altogether, I think it was just under 5, or a little over 5.
and so that's all the lots, there's like 5 lots there? It's all of them? Okay.
So that would
And
be
2
from
owners.
right on from P&M all the way to
Dollar
Dollar.
Around Dollar General too on the other side.
Yeah,
At horseshoes,
It's
so
a horseshoe around the Dollar General.
basically the retaining wall at Dollar General and then down to the walk path is for sale. Yeah, it's kind of a unique layout.
That area is an area where the golfers off of tee number 4 hit a lot of balls in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of balls in there.
Okay, it sounds like there's no reservations here, so Samantha, do you want to craft a motion that you're wanting to share with the council?
Sure. I would recommend that we consider purchasing this 5+ acreage of land.
You wanna leave the acreage off? Cause this on here says 2.27.
Whenever you
It's
add all
bigger
the
than that.
lots together, and we can leave it off. There's like 6 lots there.
Oh, wait.
Are you
maybe I'm
saying the
looking
top
at-
2?
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
And then
There's
the
another
behind Dollar
3.5.
General? Yeah.
So the 5 plus or minus acres.
I thought it was pretty
5
close
plus.
to 6
Yeah.
acres.
Yeah, it was
When
just
you
right under
combine the
6.
two.
And there's 2 separate owners.
Mhm.
Are they up for sale? Do we know?
Berkshire has them up for sale.
Everything's for sale.
They've been,
Even when it's not for sale, it's for sale.
that property's been out there for quite some time.
A long time. And they're asking a lot more than what we paid for the one from Chris Cummings.
Okay, so you wanna try again on your,
I move that we make a recommendation, to purchase, do you want me to just call it 1107 Meacham Drive?
sure.
For any potential uses in the future that may be identified.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Good meeting.
See you, Rod.
I've missed 3 meetings because of lodger's tax.
Oh my God, I expect
Now
that
I'm
to be-
behind.
Okay, so the last item is just the, discussion on the Village Hall, grading and drainage plan. And so what, Chris wanted us to discuss is he's proposing a phasing of the project so that the building is still accessible, since we're gonna be occupying here. So Chris has recommended that we do a phase one, project where we, inside this red line area, so we complete the sidewalks, around the back, and then the new entranceway, and the sidewalks along the front of the building, in phase one. So we would close the, door, the new door over here, and then the back door that's by Karen's office. And then there would just be the back doors and then the front entrance open.
What's the project schedule look like?
For length of time?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure.
You see, you're gonna close the doors just during this construction?
Yes, yeah, so this would be, while they're tearing this out, this would be closed to our, use. And then is phase two would kind of propose the inverse, so this area would be fenced off, so we could have parking in the library parking lot, we'd have the sidewalks built here, so people could walk down to this entrance or walk back behind the building. Then we'd have this parking lot opened, and then there'd be sidewalks all the way up to the main entrance. And then we could open up these entrances, but we'd have to close out this handicap spot, this would be part of the grading project. And then we'd redo the grading and take out the entrance, put in the new parking, regrade this and pave.
Where would the handicap spots be during phase one?
So during phase one, yeah, that's a good point. We'd probably have to restripe something.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure that during the construction or whatever, we couldn't reduce those number of spots. I never do see more than 1 or 2 cars parked in the handicap spots.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna need at least 2 though, just to show good faith and we're a public building with public services. It's not gonna look good.
Maybe we cut this phase right here. Or something.
see, one of the tough things though is that this is being graded back so that we can get this area to drain out this way. So it's gonna be hard for us to phase a section, lower part of it down 1.5 feet or something.
So you're saying Tim's gonna lose his spot? Just
But I mean, even that, I don't think that'd be, we'd have to look at the slopes here.
maybe
Here.
under the overhang?
Yeah, but isn't that just big enough to drive through?
And there's a step going up there.
Good catch, Dick. Well, we can phase it to Chris and see what his thoughts are.
Is there any place back here that you could put a couple of temporary and let them enter
Well, it's the stairs there though.
And of course, the handicap, that's stairs back there.
Yeah.
so.
We'll just have Dick and he'll carry people up into the building.
We've got a place for you to park. Just kidding.
Drive up service only during this phase one.
Give me a golf cart and I'll drive them up. They can park wherever they want and I'll come get them.
Yeah, we definitely have to have something.
You're gonna be back over to Horton.
Oh, yeah.
So what Chris was hoping is, by closing this off, he wasn't gonna change the paving here, he was gonna set up the new sidewalk. So we'd have the sidewalk grade set. Then in this portion, they would actually do the grading and then set the curb in this component. So that way there's still the sidewalk that can be walked.
Could you combine both of those things into one phase? The parking and
Again, it's the grading issue, and then, I was talking to Chris, what if we could close off the driveway and then have this be our fence line, do the grading work here, this would be all demoed, all repaired, we'd only have access off of,
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Then, if that's the case, then you could reopen these handicap spots, but then again, you still have that same issue here, where do we put a handicap spot?
I don't think that it would ever be handicap accessible in the upper.
No.
So what's the timeframes
Yeah,
that
that's
you're
what I was
talking about as far as how many months is it gonna take to do each process?
I mean, I would imagine that it'd be a minimum a 90-day project. I mean, what do you think? Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head, 90 days.
Each phase or total?
Together.
Total probably.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, on the conservative side, say 60 days per phase should give you plenty of time. Worst case scenario.
Are we doing like CES or they're putting it up for bid?
I think we're gonna put it out to bid. But I think we'll just have to, we'll have to meet with Chris and talk about this. This is kind of a complex issue.
Right. Well, because, talking about the handicap, but even handicap aside, when you close phase 2, which is the majority of the parking out there, then where's everybody gonna park during that phase? 'Cause that's,
Yeah, that's.
And we'll probably have to work out something where, people's work trucks are, maybe they're parked up at White Mountain Sports Complex and you drive your personal rig up there, grab your work vehicle to go into work. And then that way there's only half the vehicles, hopefully.
Didn't they have a conversation with the county not too long ago about us utilizing their parking lot?
I think they were gonna have it, yeah. I think there's some space that we can work it out. It's gonna be a little bit complex.
There's not that much parking over there, though.
Then that COVID tent is in the
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
because really, what's the work taking place up here? There's not really
So
that
up
much.
here, it's re-graded, so we need to get a good grade to match up to the existing parking here. And then this new parking lot here, and then the curb and gutter around this new corner. And then this is just gonna be re-oiled and striped.
So we're really not adding a lot of parking. I mean, some over there, which is gonna be good.
And then this on
So
the side.
we'll
Over
get,
here.
we'll get 9 spaces here. Let's see. So there's 6 here, and we'll pick up some more here.
And
Like an
this,
additional
what is
4.
this?
This
That's
is
the library.
That's the library parking.
Okay.
We're closing off the drive-through to get to the library through our parking lot.
Yep, so this is gonna be.
So you have to hit it through Kansas City now.
Oh, no.
Well,
Okay,
I mean, so what
I'm
happens
not
is
saying-
people drive
I'm-
through,
Right.
You're kidding.
but then we'll also pick up a few more spots.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Because I would say, since we're not doing that much work up there, if we could work our phasing around to where we still have access to that, you know, even if it's 2/3 of that parking lot, until the second phase when we seal coat it and restripe it.
So like we could build in a temporary like gravel drive here or something.
Well, you still access up there on the east side of, can't you come in that other way and park?
No, so this phase is gonna fence this area off, cause this has to be regraded too. So for us to get a good drainage setup here, we'll be redoing the parking lot basically from Kansas City to this spot. All of this area is being redone.
Besides grading, what other mitigation efforts is there, like drains or?
So we'll have the curb and gutter, and everything is getting, this will get this around the building to drain appropriately, and we'll have a culvert under this crossing to feed into the stormwater catchment back here. This side of the building, everything will drain this way into this parking area, and then there'll be a concrete run down into that stormwater basin.
Awesome.
Another complication that's come into the picture just now, they're talking about moving the court over here. And the court will add,
And
A lot
maybe
of traffic.
maybe the thing is that we have this and we're sitting on the design and we just know, hey, we need to wait until Horton Complex is done. And
That might be the smart thing to do.
But court, don't they do that through Zoom? They don't meet personally, do they?
court,
Yeah,
I guess, I'm not sure, do they still hold court, Kathy?
they do it.
It's Zooming?
They don't even do Zoom, they just do telephonic.
Hello?
Less room for
Not
error, I
guilty.
like it.
Was that guilty or not guilty?
Blind justice, and that's
Right.
what he looks like.
Yeah, that's true. It's like The Voice.
That's another good point though, dear.
And when will Horton be finished?
End of the year probably,
Yeah.
honestly.
Really?
Like the winter?
Yeah, right, originally it was scheduled for like the end of August, but with the delays they've already had, we're a few months past that.
That was gonna be years, thank you.
That was a good really?
I didn't say which end of the year.
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, the manager's talking about moving us back up there, so that'd be another change.
Right, I've heard that, yeah.
Forever?
To Horton?
Yeah, forestry department.
Are y'all causing problems?
There've always been problems.
I don't think they wanted to come over here in the first
Yes,
place. huh?
we are.
Not particularly.
Then what will your all's offices be used for?
We could work out of a tent. as far
Like
as that goes.
Marty?
But, no, he said that
Randy?
after everybody got moved in there, they didn't have as much room as they thought they were gonna have, so they. But if that's the case, there would have to be some offices constructed over
Who?
in Horton. Are there some with that plan?
In this phase, there's not, there is in the next phase.
Oh, a conference.
This phase is basically just the court, the dispatch, and like 2 smaller offices. That whole west wing is not being touched in this phase.
Okay, so the one last thing that we need to talk about, which kind of also compounds it, is we need to give a space for a construction yard. And I just got this today, otherwise I would have critiqued Chris about it. I talked to him about using this green area here, but he kind of misunderstood and he took out part of the golf course and surrounded the fire station. But, so disregard what Chris put in here. But we probably need to figure out a space that people can bring in, aggregate, their grading equipment, all the construction equipment that they need for this project. And
Oh, gosh.
What about that place right up there?
What about our property we
Right.
own right there next to the dog park?
oh, the new lot.
Yep.
Tom Lindsay will be happy with this.
Or that's not a bad idea right here. It's closer, right?
Yeah, because they get
Up here on the corner.
tourist people from illegal dumping.
So some
Oh, yeah.
some possible sites are, so on,
I thought
Hull,
Stagner owned that. Just kidding.
so Hull and, Cree Meadows,
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
right
It's-
away.
Easy access with equipment probably too.
And then new property on, Kansas City and, Hull.
Or in
The other day, they had a discussion that
Ovelas.
out there on Hull and, and Cree Meadows, where they dump all that slash all the time, they said there's a piece of village property in there that might work
I
for some
don't
of it.
think that's where they're
that's what-
talking
I
about.
think
what
that's
Kathy
what
was
she's
saying.
talking about,
Oh.
yeah. Kind of on the corner.
What? I missed that.
Dick had your idea.
He thought of it all by himself.
Actually, I just took her idea and changed, made it mine.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I'm here for you.
I don't think that it's very ideal, but if we came to it, we could also use the, other side of the trail.
Right.
Where is that?
Huh?
Where are we here?
Like just right there,
Yeah.
Oh, right
between
here.
the trail and the fence.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, trail. I thought you said trail.
yeah. Oh, I see. Here's the bill, here's,
And so, looking at that piece of metal art out there, I talked to Alan Briley at the planning commission the other day. He doesn't remember, he thinks that was done after him. So he wasn't sure who that meant anything to.
So maybe we can bring that to everyone,
You don't
'cause
remember, Susan?
we're trying to figure out the
It's
meaning
not
behind
too
this,
old, but
this
it's
art.
not- I don't remember.
Because one of the pieces has to be moved for this project to work. And we just didn't know if it meant to be in like this specific spot.
I don't remember, anything being brought to the community about this
I can't
at all.
remember
And
anything
that's,
either.
I mean, that's the only way I would have ever known about.
Somebody just built some art and everyone was like, whoa.
Do you think it's been there like 15
What
years?
about
Yeah.
Donaldson? What if we talked to, I wonder if Eggleston or Donaldson would know?
Put something on Facebook.
Maybe Frank would know.
That's true.
Frank might.
I bet if we move it to the other side of the trail, we'll figure out who
Oh, yeah.
it means what to.
I bet
You know what I
would
mean?
too. I never was.
Because there's a little plaque, like a wooden deal, but it's like it's faded out. There's nothing, no writing or anything.
Oh,
on it, so,
really?
Yeah.
I never understood that, but.
Yeah.
I just thought it was something the village had put out there and didn't really think twice
I
about it.
honestly thought it was too. I thought
Yeah.
the village did it, I don't know. Cause it's been there as long as this trail, I think.
Not quite as long, but pretty,
Okay,
pretty
I
close, yeah.
just couldn't remember.
Yeah, cause one day I remember walking the trail, and it was like, oh, how was that been there? So yeah, it's been there a long time.
And I mean, if we have to do a slight redesign so it stays in the spot, that's something that we can work out. It's just, it's gonna mess up some stuff, so. I can reach out to Frank. Does anyone have a good contact with Donaldson?
Yeah.
I know him, I can call him,
I
but,
could ask Lynn if he would give him a buzz.
okay.
I'll do that.
I think we should be okay to move it though overall. I mean, we're not removing it, we're just
No.
relocating
I
it.
can't
Just
imagine
move it to the other
anybody
side of the
being
trail,
upset
really.
about it.
Well, okay, we've lived here forever, and none of us know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right?
so I'm
You would think something would come to mind.
I had no idea that one day that just popped up.
Yeah.
And I just figured it was from
We
the
have all kinds
village.
of weird little art popping up all over
Yeah.
this community. In a random, early 90s, late 90s.
Okay, all right, we'll work on trying to figure that out. Anyone else have comments about Village Hall?
I would recommend that we wait until Horton is complete, that way we have a little bit more room.
Okay,
Cause then we could also park our vehicles over there if we needed to.
yeah,
Horton,
Horton.
the work vehicles.
and they'd probably be a little bit more secure than like at the park or anything. All right, round robin, got anything, Samantha?
Nothing comes to mind right now, no.
Okay.
We've got several projects in the hopper, but we had to back up and look at the clauses we put in our contracts. And so, and then it snowed. So we're probably a month or two away from doing anything. So I don't have anything else.
Okay. You got anything, Zeke, that you wanna share?
Are you our new member?
No, I'm just a fly on the wall.
Oh. You could be.
I got told at 12:45 to be here at 1.
And Roger knows what passing the gauntlet out to today.
You should probably talk to Melissa. So this is our last day for Kathy for a while. She's,
I think we should put her in for another year.
well, she did 2 years, so she
Only
let,
2 years?
she let Karen Cook convince her to take Karen Cook's year, so.
I felt sorry for Karen Cook, because she always has to do another one, and I was like, why in the world did I ever feel
So
sorry
now
for
who's gonna?
Melissa.
Melissa?
Oh.
So it'll be Melissa, and then it'll be Karen, and then it'll be me. So you will see me before I retire. But
You may not see me before you retire. When are you retiring?
December 31st, 2025.
She's already got.
I know. How nice.
3 years.
3 years and 11 months.
I know how that
I'm
is.
not counting right now.
Okay, Ashley, anything?
How many years till retirement?
26.
Nice. Don't wish your life away.
To work your life away.
I always told Tom, God, we're retired. Well, wishing our life away. And then we got 62. And then it was like, 3 years and we're going to be Medicare. And now it's, going on 66. I'm like, no,
Now what?
the garden, make sure you get that all cleared out, would ya? Because that's my next step.
Susan, did you go to school with Barbara?
Yeah, we graduated.
Okay. The only thing I have is tomorrow we'll be awarding our capital outlay agreement for the Two Rivers Park. So we'll be doing fish habitat from the northern pedestrian bridge all the way up to the river crossing condos, so.
So that went well in Santa Fe?
What do you mean?
With your NCRS.
Yeah, your meeting, when we left, you were having.
With the
a
senator.
meeting with that.
Yeah, it went okay.
Oh, okay.
Was there anything from strategic planning that's in your tactical plan that we should kind of be focused on for this calendar year?
The main thing is that we probably, so we've got Riverbend Engineering under contract. We probably need to sit down and develop a scope of work to develop a master drainage plan. So that would help us when we're doing the updates to the firm, by having actual calculations of flow and discharge. And then it also could help us redo our ordinances on culvert sizes and lot drainage and stormwater systems, since it's so vague.
That would be good.
So it's kind of you and me is kind of centric, so.
Yeah.
But that, I think, would be a big priority, and it's probably a discussion that we should have at the next our next meeting, so the March.
So after, how we're going after all these CDBG and even Gavel and Warrior and Paradise, none of those included drainage or curb design or anything. So maybe that's something we should kind of push for as a committee, that when we put in for grant dollars, that it includes that in the design.
I wanted us to spruce up from, on Sudworth from Meacham up to the circle and have more nicer curb and
That would be
stuff.
nice. It's
Yeah,
so ugly
from
there.
That's what I was hoping, that we could look for money for that.
And it's in our MRA, so maybe.
Okay.
See what's out there. That advantage.
I mean, you know, that's a gateway to Upper Canyon, and it's, you know, we have everything, and then after Beecham and Sutterth, it's
Where the
like,
post office used to be, that little strip,
yeah.
so ugly.
I mean, there's some nice buildings, and then there's some other ones that are quite so nice.
Yeah, the mayor said, or somebody said on the mayor's show this morning that the bridges are gonna get funded.
We got funded, she gave us $11 million, the gap funding. So I'm really excited.
That meeting with the governor went well, I think that
That's
was
what,
awesome.
that's what they went ahead and gave it to us.
Yeah, as soon as we walked out of there, I was like, they killed it. That was so good.
Okay, is there anything else for this meeting so I can adjourn this? Susan always thinks that I'm picking on her.
I'm sorry.
I get off topic easy.
Okay. So the next meeting date is wrong. Kathy, can you look up what's the next first Thursday?
The current meeting date is wrong too. I was almost late.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a real hard time with this.
Well, I keep thinking Monday, why didn't we do it Monday?
it was a special meeting. Cause everyone was in Santa Fe,
Yeah.
but not enough of us to do a special meeting up there.
I think you should add an agenda item to include Zeke on the board.
We can make that recommendation to the council.
Yeah, somebody from capital projects should be here for all of this.
I think it's a good idea.
It'll be,
Sign me up.
March 3rd?
We will.
Sign me up.
Thursday, yes, March 3rd.
Did they tell you it was only one meeting a month?
Is that the way you got sucked into being the council?
Well, I knew it was me.
All right, so with that, we'll adjourn this meeting.
Are you on every committee that's